Good morning, it's Wesley here from Business Blessings and PowerfulPrayerStrategies.com. Well, this morning I wanted to talk to you about the concept of two chairs, and it comes from a book called Two Chairs by Bob Beaudine. So who's Bob? Well, he is the president and CEO of Eastman and Beaudine, and he's recognized as the top sports entertainment search executive in the US. He also serves as a board member of directors of the two-time American League champion Texas Rangers, and Bob and his wife Cheryl have been married for 32 years and have 3 grown daughters, and they live in Texas in the USA. Why is it important to know that? Because it's a top CEO who takes time every day to spend in what he calls his two chairs. So his two chairs are literally having two chairs, one for him and one for God. And he sits there and has a conversation with God every morning before he goes about his work. In his book, Bob asks 3 questions of us. First one, does God know your situation? Well, the answer to that is yes. Secondly, is it too hard for him to handle? No. Thirdly, does he have a good plan for you? The answer to that is yes. So throughout the book, Bob talks about some quite amazing testimonies of what happens when people start to implement this strategy of meeting with God on a day-by-day basis and asking God what's on his heart for us today. So let me read one of those testimonies to you. It says, you see, God himself has been seeking relationship with his creation since the beginning of time, wanting our attention and not the other way around. He's calling you right now, even in the midst of all your stuff and your trouble. And he's inviting you, just as he did with Bob's mom and George Washington, because he just shared testimony about George Washington, into a deep conversation with him. How do I know that? Well, besides having experienced the transformational effect of two chairs for nearly 40 years myself, God told us in Isaiah 64:24, before they call, I will answer. While they are still speaking, I will hear. And in Psalm 5:3, it says, in the morning, O Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning, I lay my request before you and wait in expectation. Can you imagine that long before you were even thinking of him, he's been thinking of you? Even better news is that he has some great and mighty thoughts he'd like to discuss with you about that situation of yours, and he needs some face-to-face time to talk to you about that. The question is, will you take this heed call and meet with him at your two chairs? He goes on to say, imagine if you were in some big legal trouble and you could sit with, say, the Supreme Court Justice John Roberts every morning to discuss your case. Wouldn't you like that? Of course you would. What if you needed to get your personal finances under control and the great Dave Ramsey was knocking at your door every morning to share his secrets to financial peace with you? That would be amazing, wouldn't it? Or how about if you were a recreation league, middle school or high school basketball coach and you could sit down and spending 30 minutes with one of Duke University's head basketball coach to discuss the best way to run a practice or develop leadership, team culture, and winning a program year in, year out. I wouldn't have to twist your arm, would I? But isn't all of that really nothing compared to the opportunity we've been missing each day? Think about it. What an offer. The idea that the creator of the universe and the King of Kings, God himself, is waiting to meet you seems too good to be true, but it's true. Set up your two chairs and see for yourself. And when you do, I promise you'll not be the same. Think about it. The chance to come and sit with the King, to talk with him about anything and everything, even though he knows it all, he still wants you to share the worries, the pain, the hurt, the shame, whatever is going on with you. And when you ask for forgiveness, he forgives. He forgets and he loves you right where you are. And that's just the beginning of his goodness, because he has so much more for you. He wants to fill you with peace and joy and insight and power and favor beyond anything you couldn't imagine. Each new day, he's designing some specific plans just for you. Even if you were not in immediate trouble, this would be helpful. But how wonderful and amazing his guidance and encouragement is in the most desperate of times. So I want to encourage you today, take the time out every day to speak with the Father, because he is for you and not against you. And as you do, some amazing revelation will come. He will start to unfold his plans and purposes for you. For some of you, it's going to be like having a love feast. The God's just going to simply just wrap his arms around you and says to you how much I love you and how much I care for you. For others, you need direct answers about specific steps, what to do. You're in a mess. You don't know what to do. For others, it may be things are going okay, but you know what? You never know what that still small voice of God is going to say to you. This is the way, walking in it. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. You are a good person. You are a good person. You are not bad. At your core, you are good. You may do some bad things, but at your core, you're good. So because of that, God wants to speak to you today and bless you as you take time to do that. I'm going to encourage you to actually get a copy of the book, Two Chairs. We've got available on our website at powerfulprayerstrategies.com. You will find it very insightful. There is testimony after testimony about how God has stepped in and just given the answer that you need each and every day. So today's powerful prayer strategy, simply ask God, God, what's on your heart for me today?